Hello class, welcome to English lecture. Today I am going to explain you from your prime English chapter 7, chapter name in Sahedri Hills, a lesson in humility. Now student, before understanding the detail of the story, let us know about the author. Sudha Murthy. Sudha Murthy is an Indian engineering teacher and Kannada and English author as well as a social worker. She is also the chairperson of the Infosys Foundation. She is the wife of co-founder of Infosys N.R. Narayan Murthy. Sudha Murthy began her professional career in computer science and engineering. She is also known for her contribution to literature in Kannada and English through her novels, travelogue collection, short stories, and non-fiction. These are some unique contribution towards literature by Sudha Murthy. She has been awarded the R.K. Narayan Award for Literature and Padma Shri in the year 2006. Now student, this was a little gist about the author Sudha Murthy. Now student, have you ever had an interesting interaction with someone who comes from a weaker economic background, which changed the way you think about them? Relate the incident to you among your friends only. That what kind of a person which you have met with some kind of a person who came from a weaker economic background, and then immediately he changed your thought and your perception towards looking at him. Have you ever wondered how they get through the sweltering hot summers and the freezing winters? Think of some of the ways in which their lives are different from yours. Yes, student, while sitting in your comfortable home and with your loving parents, the difficulties of life you have not even seen and you haven't faced. But these children who come from the weaker section, or weak economic background, they only know what is the freezing winter and the sweating summer and the difficult time, and studying without money. These are the different issues faced by the numerous people, numerous children in our country. So here student, in this chapter or in this story, Sudha Murthy has beautifully explained about the culture and the society and the traveling of Sahedri Hills. These are the different variations she has shown in this story. This story is about, is taken from the collection of Vice and Otherwise. It is a salute to life in 2002. It is an account of her experiences with the tribal people living in the dense forest of Karnataka. The story shows the changing vision of the tribal folk who are ready to join the computer revolution in the contemporary period. It also gave us a lesson on human nature that teaches us give when you take, do not take without giving. This is the moral or theme of the story. In this you will come to know that what does it mean give when you take and do not take without giving. So student, I have given you these are some difficult words from the story I have taken, and these are the difficult word I have given you in this PPT. And please note it down. And if you are facing any difficulty while reading a chapter, then you can have a meaning from this glossary. Now, let's read a story about the speaker's visit to Sahedri Hills. I love traveling, be it a tiny village, a drought hit area, a deserted mountain top, a dense forest, or even a monument in Egypt or China. I enjoy going to different places. Now, student, please listen here. I is donating to Sudha Murthy. Now, she is only the narrator of this story. Now, she's saying that she loved to enjoy and traveling. On one occasion, I went to the Sahedri Hills, a densely forested region in Karnataka. It had been drizzling the whole day. Now, student, can you see that red marked words, drought hit area? These are the words I have given you just to understand the meaning of these words. It is about an area that has not received rain for a long time. So she's talking about, she loved traveling, and then she visit to a tiny village also, area where rain has not run for a long time, a deserted mountain top, a dense forest. She loves traveling, in short. Okay, and on one occasion, Sudha Murthy went to the Sahitri Hills, where is a densely forested area in Karnataka. She went to visit a tribal village school to help them. The school was an old thatched building, and now she has given us a complete introduction. Now let's go to another slide. They are difficult to negotiate during the rains, especially due to the presence of those dreaded leeches. Now, student, I would like to tell you the meaning of negotiate. Negotiate means get around. Leeches means worms that live in wet forest and stick to the bodies of humans and animals to feed on their blood. Now there are, where there is a too much rainy season or rainy weather, then these types of leeches and forests are common. One ought to visit them during the rainy season to get the most out of them. The mild smell of exotic trees, shrubs and flowers, and chirping of different kinds of birds, the gentle whistle of the unpolluted breeze, these are joys that can never be experienced in any town or city. Now here in this paragraph you can clearly understand that she is visiting to an area which is densely forested, and there are too many leeches, and there are different exotic smell, trees, shrub, flower, chirping of different kinds of birds, and unpolluted breeze. Obviously that village area or hill type of area are less populated. Therefore, the breeze are fresh and they are completely unpolluted area. Let's go to next paragraph. I was there to visit a tribal village school deep in the forest area. The charitable trust, now charitable trust means an organization that helps poor people. Now, with which I am connected, wanted to help improve the school. Tandas, as local group of tribals are called. Tandas are, they are the local people of that area. Are delighted, are delightful. Normally, there is a headman in each Tanda known as the Tandappa. He is the senior most man of the tribe and is considered the supreme power, almost a living god. All are beholden to him. He practices the customs taught to him in his childhood, and everyone follows them. Now, in this paragraph, Sudhamurti is explaining that she visited to Sahidri Hills, and it is a tribal village, and that area is covered with the deep forest. And though she is connected with a charitable trust means to help and provide the weaker section of the society, and she was connected with them. There she met a Tandas. Tandas are the local groups and tribals of that area, and there is always a headman of there is a panchayat. When you go in a village area, there is a panchayat and there is a sarpanch. In the same way, here it is also a headman who called Thanda, and they are known as Thandappa. He is the senior most man of that tribe and considered to be as a supreme power, and everyone take him as a god, and all are beholden to him. He practices the customs and taught to him since childhood, and everyone follows them. I hope you have understood this paragraph. Now, student, let's go to next paragraph. There was a downpour when I reached the village. Now, downpour means heavy rain, and when she reached village, it was there was a heavy rain. The rain, the glistening meaning shining leaves, and the strong smell of wild flowers made me feel as though I was on a different planet. Now, the smell of the flower, it made her feel that she is on a different planet. But I never felt like an intruder, not even when I reached the school after a long walk, and every villager stood by staring at me. Because the dressing sense and the way of living those tribal people is diametrically opposite the way Sudha Murthy was wearing a dress. So in the same way, everyone was staring at her, and the way she's coming towards the village, because very very rarely people used to village on that area. People visit to that village, and in the same way, every villager or every town person was looking at her and staring at her. and reaching the school was an adventure in itself. Now she said that reaching the school was an adventure in itself. As you all know, that she has struggled a lot while coming to this route, because it is all covered with the forested area, and there's so many leeches, different kind of flowers, plant, trees, shrubs. So she has come crossed all over the things, and then she reached back to school. I saw a lady walking with rhythmic grace. Rhythmic grace means a smooth or relaxed manner, despite the three pots of water balanced on her head. Now, student, can you imagine that she's carrying three pots of water on her head, but still she's in a rhythmic grace. Rhythmic grace means walking very smoothly. I stopped her and asked, uh, she stopped her and asked, which way should I go to reach the school? She made an exclamatory sound, stared at me and walked away. Perhaps she didn't want to talk to a stranger, especially one from a town. Or perhaps she didn't understand my language. I then approached an old woman. Now, she met with an lady who's carrying three pots of water, and she is moving very smoothly. She asked the direction of the school, but she didn't reply back, and then Sudhamurti thought that maybe she has not understood her language, or she's not understood what she was asking. Then she moved further and she met an old man who was weaving a cane basket while humming a folk song. Now he's singing a local song, a folk song, and he's weaving a cane. I knelt in front of him and asked in a loud and clear tone, where is the school? Now again she asked from that old man, where is the school? Curiosity was written all over his face, and he seemed anxious to ask me all kinds of questions. But he didn't. He simply said something in his dialect. Dialect means a variety of spoken language in his own language, and indicated direction with his hand. Now he wanted to ask Sudha Murthy a different kind of question, but he didn't ask. His face is telling that he is in a questionable tone, but he didn't ask a single question, and he indicated the direction of the school. Now, in the next paragraph, the school was an old thatched building, probably built by the tribals themselves. It was a primary school. I could see a few children playing outside while others were busy under a shed like shelter doing something with leaves and straws. Now, when she entered the school premises, there was an old thatched building. Thatched means roof made up of dried straw, reed, etc., probably built by the tribals themselves. It was a primary school, and she could see a few children playing outside while others are busy under a shed like shelter and doing something with leaves and straws. Means some creative work they've all those children were doing. I walked in and found a small room with two chairs, two tables, and blackboard with a pot of water beside it. There were no electric lights or fans. Instead, a small shutterless opening served as the window. This was the only source of ventilation in the room. Now, student, in this paragraph, Sudha Murthy is, explaining the structure of that school and those room. And the school was an old thatched building, probably built by the tribal themselves. It has a small room with two chairs, two tables, and a blackboard with a pot of water beside it. There was no electric lights or fans, but only shutterless opening windows for ventilation. A person who is a tour guide worked as a watchman come peon of the school for free. There were no paid employees. Now let's understand it in a better way on the next paragraph. Um, it appeared to be the office room, but there was no one there. I did not find any staff around. While I was looking for someone, an elderly man walked up to me and asked what I wanted. I introduced myself and told him that I had come to see what we could provide. Now she was searching a man, that she found that it is a kind of an office, and somebody to to answer her questions and to meet a particular person. Then immediately one old man came, and he's office staff, peon, watchman, you can say anything. He is only the person who is administering the school. Now she asked from him what kind of help school want. Now let's move further. The school, his response, however, didn't seem very encouraging. I thought I might be able to communicate better if I first put him at ease, so I started asking him about his life. It turned out that he was the live in watchman campion of the school. He would double as a tour guide sometimes, but he was not a paid employee of either the school or the government. His grandson was studying in the school free of cost in return for the service which the old man rendered. Now, as I've told you earlier, also, he is not a paid employee and not even from private, from government, but still he is serving the school. And on that behalf of service, his grandson is studying free of cost. This is only the facility he is getting from that school. And she talked in a in a very common language so that he can understand her language. Now in the next paragraph we'll understand how long had he been living there. Now she asked how long he had been living there. For many years, he replied. He said that for many years he is living over here. He lived in a small but in the courtyard of the school. By now, his attitude toward me was slightly more encouraging. Now, when she's talking in his own language or in a kind of a tribal language, so he's in a very encouraging way. Now he has started getting familiar with Sudhamurti, and he started in a his attitude has become soft, and he's in an encouraging attitude. So I gently turned the conversation to the affairs of the school. He said that the state government ran the school. There were two teachers and around 50 students who came from far and near. Now he said that in this school, it is. He said that the state government ran the school, means the state government is running this school, and there are only two teachers and approximately 50 students who come far and near of the area. There was no compulsory uniform. I was impressed by the number of children who attended the school. After all, their parents were unschooled themselves and the living conditions were harsh. Yet there was a willingness to educate their children. Now Sudha Murthy said that she was highly impressed with with the parents who sent their children, although they have not studied and never went to school, but still they are willing to teach their children, to educate them for the society, and there was no compulsory uniform to wear, but she was highly impressed with the society. What are the difficulties you face in running this school? Now she asked, what are the difficulties you are facing in running this school? The old man didn't say much by way of reply. He just took me to cottage nearby and introduced me to the Thadappa, who seemed to be more than 90 years old. He was happy to see me. Now he straight away taken her to Thadappa, the headman I've told you earlier also, and she asked him the same question: what help they want from us? Now he was approximately 90 years old, and he was very happy to see her. I asked him the same question. What problems do you face in running the school? Commuting to school was difficult during the rains. Commuting means traveling, means when children or teachers are coming to school, it is very difficult because roads are not well versed. He said, beside the school clothes wouldn't dry in the rainy season, the simplest of problems and a familiar one too. Now, the problem which he has told to Sudhamurti was quite familiar, and it is very easy to understand these issues because it is acceptable, because that area is densely forested, and season is rainy, and they have a continuous, because of the continuous rainy season, their clothes cannot dry properly, and they are having a problem of commuting. Reaching the school is quite difficult. So these are the issue he told to Sudha Murthy. During the course of my work, I have listened to many such problems from many such people. After acquiring a fair understanding of the people and their lives, I departed, not forgetting to thank them for their cooperation. I decided to return with some umbrella and clothes for the children. Now, what happened? She listened to all the problem and she understand all the issues what he was telling, and he departed to thank them, and for the cooperation, for the problem they have shared with her, and decided to return with some umbrella and clothes for the children. I hope, student, you are understanding the scenario, the scene which was created by Sudha Murthy in this story. It is very simple story and very easily she has explained, and there's nothing, there's nothing like a rocket science or complicated words which you are not able to understand. So please go through the video nicely, and keep on marking difficult word as well. Now let's come back to the topic and continue with the next paragraph. When I went again, it was winter. The rain were over, now the scene was transformed. It was paradise, there was no mud and no frogs croaking. Birds were cooing, the sky was clear, many rare flowers had bloomed. I met the same Thadappa. He recognized me and greeted me with a smile. His eyes seemed to welcome me warmly. Now, when she came back after listening to the issue, now when she came back to the time, then it was winter and rainy season was over. The rain were over. Now the scene was transformed. It was like a paradise, very beautiful. Birds were, cooing, and there's no mud, no frogs croaking, and the sky was clear. Many rare flowers had bloomed, and she met a Thadappa again. He recognized him and greeted her with a smile. His eyes seems to be welcoming way. People from village are always welcoming. Whenever you go to a hi-fi place, they don't, they don't value, they don't even give a smile. But when you do go to a small places, small villages, they understand your feelings, they welcome you in a very polite way. So same, as we all know, she's a engineer, she's a teacher, she has written so many novels. So she's such a great personality, but she can get a respect from everywhere. But still, when she went to village, she's getting a different kind of feeling from that Thadappa and the people and the tribals. So she was highly appreciated by their behavior and attitude. Please accept these things which I have brought for the children here. Last time, handing over a big bag to him. Now she handed over a big bag to him, and she got a lot of things for children. The Thadappa hesitated. I wondered whether he was feeling embarrassed. I told him. Now Thadappa was hesitated to accept those gifts, and she thought that he must be feeling embarrassed. I told him, you have not asked for any gift from me. I bought this myself. It will help the children during the rains. Please get the clothes stitched according to their size. Now she said that I've got some gifts for the children. I know you have not, Tabdata has not asked for the gift, but still I have got those gifts for the children. Now she bought few clothes and she asked him to stitch according to their size. He walked into his hut and without saying a word, what do you want to learn? I asked some children who were standing nearby. Now she asked those students that what do you want to learn? No one answered. After a lot of persuasion, persuasion means a kind of convincing or something to force to ask. A few youngsters came closer, but they were still too shy to talk. Now they are shy to talk. They are young and they are hesitated to speak a word. So I went on coaxing. Coaxing means encouraging someone to say or do something. And ultimately one of them said, we have heard about computers, but We have not seen them except on TV. We want to learn about computers. Do you have any book about computers that is written in Kannada? Now they have asked a very unusual or different type of question, which is definitely not expected from the village children. They said that they have heard about computer, but they have only heard, and they have only seen on TV, but can had never worked on those computers. Do you have any books about computers? They asked from Sudhamurti. Now, having been brought up in a teacher's family and being a teacher myself, I was delighted to hear what these children had to say. Their ideas were surprisingly fresh and modern. Despite the fact that they belong to such a backward region, I told them that I would look for such books in Bangalore. If I didn't find any, I promised that I would write a book for them myself. Now, she said that I will definitely provide a book for them, and if she will not get those books, then she will write for them specially. Now, can you see that how sweet and polite Sudhamurti was towards the children? They seemed pleased, and I was extremely happy. By that time, the Thadappa had returned from inside his hut. He held a bottle of red liquid in his hand. Now, back to the Thadappa. Thadappa came from that hut and he has bought some. Can you see in the picture? Thadappa is standing, he's approximately 90-year old, and the children were standing around Sudhamurti, and she's carrying a bag, and in those bags, she is having a gifts and clothes for the umbrellas for the children. Now he offered this red liquid to Sudha Murthy. Amma, in a respect, he said, Amma, he said, presenting the bottle to me, we do not know what you like and what you. Now he said that he doesn't know what you like or what you don't like, but he offered her. Drink at home. This is very special drink that we prepare during summer in this forest area. Now he said that we prepare this drink in this forest area. We extract juice from a wild red fruit and store it. It lasts for at least two rainy seasons. Nothing is added to the juice. It is good for health. Add some of this juice to a cup of water and stir it before drinking. Now he said that you can add this juice, and it is have a wild red fruit. It is made up of wild red fruit, extraction of wild red fruit, and store it, and it can it can last for two rainy season. Nothing is added in this juice. It is pure, fresh, extracted from natural plants and natural fruit. I was embarrassed. How could I accept a gift from these poor people? Now she's, embarrassed, and she thought that how could she accept, a gift from these poor people? They themselves did not seem to have enough to eat and drink. Moreover, I had gone on a mission to give, not to take. I thought it over and politely declined the gift. Decline means refuse to accept. The Thedappa then said gravely, gravely means seriously, Amma, then we cannot accept your gift either. Now, can you see that when he offered a gift, he said that if you will not accept our gift, then I will also not accept your gift. Our ancestors have lived in this forest for generations, and they have taught us their ways. When you want to give us something, we accept, but only when we can give something to you too. Unless you take our gift, we cannot take the things you have brought for us. I was shocked, embarrassed, and humbled. Nothing in my experience had prepared me for this. The usual pattern is for people to express gratitude when a charitable organization provides some assistance. Now, she was highly impressed and humbled by Thadappa welcome and the offer he has given as a on behalf of Red Juice. She said that how sweet, and the behavior which he's carrying since ancestors. She was highly impressed by all these words. I have come across complaints too when a group or organization has many problems and we help solve one of them. It is not unusual for the recipients of our help to grumble about what has been left undone rather than show gratitude for what has been accomplished. Now, she's just, addressing that it is our duty to help poor people. But somebody with so high, so high gratitude and humility and the and the power of behavior, she has never seen. There have been cases where recipients have complained about the amount of help given to them. Now she's saying that wherever she went for the help, everyone was complaining that they have not got this, they have not got that. But these people are so generous, so nice, that they are not complaining, they are not saying anything. Even I'm helping them, they are on return, they are giving me gift, because it is their behavior, it is which they are carrying from since ancestors. So she was highly impressed that how nice and so so careful people they are, that they are not accepting gift without giving a kind of on return, on some kind of help to return that in the behalf of gift. I have taken all this in my stride, finding fulfillment in the giving, not in the responses. Here in the Sahedri forest was an old man, a tribal with no schooling, practicing a highly principled philosophy of life: give when you take, do not take without giving. This was culture at its best. I smiled and gracefully accepted his gift. The Thandappa rose ever further in my esteem when he remarked with a twinkle, there is a grace in accepting also. Now, at this point of time, when Thandappa gave her a bottle of juice made from a red fruit, Sudhamurti was hesitant to accept, as she had gone there to give what she could not accept. But the local themselves had hardly anything to eat and drink. But she was highly impressed that how the high principle they are having. And he said, explained that as a matter of principle set upon them by their ancestors, they could only accept gift from someone when he had something to offer in return, and it was accepted. Undoubtedly, Sudhamurti was impressed and humbled by the high principle followed by an old tribal man with no schooling, which is give when you take, and do not take without giving, and there is a grace in accepting also. So, student, I hope you have understood this chapter, and let's go in a few days. Sahitri is an interaction with tribals, helping hand to school deep in forest condition of local people. Thandas Thandappa, a living god to Thandas, advertises faced by the children in school ratio. Two teachers of to 50 student inquiry about the current problems of the children and response to the problem by providing umbrellas and clothes for the children. Paradise in winter, embrace the Thandappa dialogue with the school children. Fresh ideas of the children, Thandappa offers a bottle with red fresh fruit juice. Embarrass author, practice of high principle of life. Give when you take. These are the these are the high principles shown by Sudha Murthy in this story, and I hope you have understood this chapter. And please go through the video carefully. This chapter is not at all difficult, not at all not at all that way that you cannot understand this chapter. Please go through the chapter or video thoroughly. On my next ppt I have given you question answers and word meaning along with difficult word related to this chapter. Please complete your work on time and submit your copy with fair and neat and clean work. Thank you for watching video. Have a nice day.